circles do for women what women do for everyone else. So we're the ones nurturing, feeding, holding, supporting, witnessing, tending to, whether you're a mother or not. You are out there doing so much for so many, being of service, volunteering, structuring, leading, teaching, doctoring. You're doing so much. The circle space for me and for many women is a place for us to go, for us to recharge, for us to be filled, to be held, to be witnessed.
Hi, I'm Dr. Avanti Kumar Singh, and this is the Healing Catalyst podcast. I'm a medical doctor with over 20 years of experience and also a lifelong practitioner of Ayurveda. I created the Healing Catalyst podcast because we all deserve a different kind of conversation about health, one that's honest, holistic, and rooted in both science and soul. On this show, I'm joined by the world's leading experts to give you science-backed tools that you can start using today and actually stick with to build real health and longevity. I am so glad you're here. Now let's get to it. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the Healing Catalyst podcast. Today, we're exploring one of the most essential but overlooked aspects of healing, which is the ability to process our emotions. You know, I'm asked all the time, how do I actually do that? How do I process my emotions? Now, we know from both modern science and ancient wisdom that avoiding or suppressing emotions can take a huge toll on our health, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And yet, for so many of us, really feeling our feelings can be so scary and incredibly hard, especially when we feel isolated and alone. It's often easier to suppress the feelings, to suppress the emotions, distract ourselves, or numb out with behaviors that ultimately aren't supportive of our well-being or our health. And because emotional suppression is so directly linked to chronic stress and disease, I am committed to sharing tools that really help you move through your emotions before they become imbalanced, before they become dis-ease. Now, therapy is, of course, one valuable path, but today I want to introduce you to another powerful practice, circling. Now, circling is not a new concept, but it's really gaining momentum, especially among women, and for good reason. At its core, circling is a relational practice that offers a space to be witnessed without judgment, without advice or interruption. And it turns out that this simple act of being seen and heard can have profound physiological benefits. The science behind this is fascinating. And to help us understand this practice more deeply, I'm joined by someone who has been leading circles for over 2 decades, the incredible Andréa Bendewald. As she describes, in circles, there's no performing, no fixing, just presence. And while that might sound simple, don't be fooled. This is not woo. There is real neuroscience behind the power of this kind of connection, including how it activates mirror neurons and allows us to process emotions in real time, in community, rather than letting them build up in the body. This kind of empathy and shared experience also activates the release of oxytocin, the connection hormone, while lowering cortisol and calming the nervous system. In other words, circles don't just feel good, they actually change us on a biological level. And the truth is, many of us are better at avoiding emotions, scrolling, snacking, shopping, numbing, than we are at feeling them. Whether it's grief, shame, anger, joy, or pride, we often don't give ourselves the space to fully feel and metabolize what's inside of us. And that's why this conversation with Dre is so incredibly important. My hope is that by listening, you'll begin to understand the real healing potential of being in a circle, of being in community, how transformative it can be to feel truly seen, and how you don't have to navigate emotional healing alone. This episode is an invitation to reconnect with yourself, with others, and with your own innate capacity to heal through presence. Now, let me introduce you to Andréa Bendewald. Andréa is the founder of The Art of Circling and the host of the Circle This podcast. Dre began her career as a professional actress, appearing in hit shows like Friends, Seinfeld, and The Morning Show. But for over 2 decades, she's also been leading transformational circles, modern day rituals rooted in ancient tradition, where women come together to be seen, supported, and empowered. Through the art of circling, Dre blends storytelling, deep listening, and sacred space to help others reconnect with themselves and with one another. Dre's work has been featured in People, The Hollywood Reporter, The New York Times, Self Magazine, and across countless podcasts, blogs, and live events. And as she beautifully says, when we gather, shift happens. I am so happy to share my conversation about the art and science of circling with Andréa Bendewald. It is so lovely to meet you, Dre. Thank you so much for doing this with me today.
I am thrilled to be here.
Oh, you're so sweet. I love that you are an expert on circling and circles. And, I really love that we're going to be able to talk about this with my audience because circling, this idea of being in community with others, is such an important part from my perspective of healing, of connection, of medicine. And it's so much a part of what we talk about in Ayurveda. And so I wanted to start with, you're the founder of something called the Art of Circling, and you've been doing circles for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
So why did you find that doing circles was something that was so needed? What brought you to doing this work?
So thank you for having me and for giving me the platform to share what it is that is my spiritual medicine and my practice and my, like, the one thing that I could do for free for the rest of my life and I could talk about forever. So I love sharing everything that I know and feel and have learned about these many years sitting in sacred circles and then also facilitating them.
Right.
So the very first circle I sat in, and that's where it started. People ask, like, what was your defining moment? Or when did you know you wanted to be an actress? Because I'm also an actress by trade, and I made my living doing acting for years. I still act. I remember the moment I sat in my first women's circle in Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. And I had just moved out here to be an actress. And I had gone to theater school and I had gone back to New York and was really struggling. Post community. So college is a really built in community. Now I was out of community in New York, waiting tables and super depressed. Didn't know why. I moved out to California. Yes, I had some friends here, but I was still super depressed. I sat in my first circle, women's circle, and something changed in me. Something was ignited. I remembered something. I felt something, and I felt this spiritual community. So it wasn't just sitting in a circle with women. It was that we were also connecting to something above ourselves. We were connecting to spirit. We were connecting to one another, and we were doing a very gentle ritual of sitting in a circle with some guidelines that made it a circle and not us just like, hanging out.
Right.
I felt at home. I felt seen. I felt heard. I felt at peace. I felt so many things from this very simple practice.
Right.
And that's what it was. I had community. I had friends, but it was the spiritual aspect and it was the ritual that made me feel connected. I felt a chemical shift. I went on to have to work with my depression, and I can say now that I am happily healed and no longer depressed, and many different modalities have served me.
Sure.
The primary one, circling.
Wow. And so it was a personal experience that then led you, it's one thing to experience it and say, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go back, I'm going to do it again and again and again, right? It's a different one than to say, but now I want to do this for other people. So how did that happen?
So I was circling just with friends, and we were doing it around the full moon, the new moon, for somebody's birthday, a baby shower, a bridal shower. We really started using this circle process. That's why I call it the art of circling. And we would just bring all our creativity to it.
Sure.
Let's get into a circle with women that are older than me or different from me, and they're going to share their stories, and I'm going to learn like the real juice, like what it really means to be a woman. So I was hooked on that too. And I found the value. So why wouldn't I want to share it? And I'm also, I'm a storyteller, I'm a performer, but I really was, I was like, everybody should be doing this.
Yeah.
Because if it's benefiting me, what if it benefits you? What if it benefits, I really believed, I was like, if we were all circling, we would be saving the world. We would be saving humanity. That's what I still do believe. And that's why I love it. And I still, to this day, I get something out of every circle I lead or I sit in.
Right.
Every single one. And I have the benefit, this is the beauty of from where I sit. I just started a new circle series on Monday. I get to watch these women transform their own lives in the circle. And I see it every circle. Somebody comes in and they're lost and confused and they don't know about this, that, or the other thing. And they get exactly what they need from all the women in the circle, just from listening to stories, just from sharing. And you watch them come into themselves. It's the greatest thing in the world.
I mean, it sounds amazing, but here's what's coming up for me because I'm a clinician, right? So I think what we need to do is have you define and sort of explain exactly what a circle is, because for me, it brings up group therapy sort of vibes. Like that's what I'm picturing. And and you're shaking your head no for all the people who are listening. So I know that they're different. So let's tease that out.
Sure.
So what exactly is a circle? And then maybe you could explain like, how is it different than group therapy? Because obviously there's a difference.
Sure. So a circle can be very therapeutic.
Yes.
But it's not therapy.
Okay.
So you can get all these benefits of transformation and self-awareness and healing, but I'm not a therapist. It's not therapy. It's not group therapy. And I have cultivated and designed my version of circling to be very specific so that it's not therapy.
Okay.
And I have guidelines. They're invitations. We call them guidelines. They're not rules. But one of the guidelines is we don't crosstalk and we don't give advice. So, Avanti, you come into the circle and you share about this very big thing that you're going through, and you share a story that's like intense, a challenge.
Sure.
What do? What does the space do? We listen, we hold space. We are the container, the safe container for which you get to share whatever it is you need to share.
Sure.
And then I'm going to do the same. Now, maybe your share, which I'm not going to comment on, I'm not offering advice. I'm not even going to comment on it. That's the invitation. But maybe something you shared does inspire me to now share something about myself that may be similar. Maybe I went through something similar. So now the story I choose to share is relatable to you. So what happens with this invitation of no crosstalk is we all get to hear ourselves in one another.
Right.
We get to recognize ourselves. Maybe I'm going to learn something about what you went through and it's similar to what I'm going through. But I'm going to take from the group what I need.
Right.
What's going to serve me simply by listening, simply by sharing, not giving advice. Now, there's another guideline I like to roll in where I say, would anybody like to offer support?
Okay.
And I use this word very specifically, support. And support comes in two forms. One, I'm just going to witness you and say that I really heard you and I see you and my heart's with you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Well, you know what you should do? You should take up yoga. You should take up jogging. Now, might be good advice. Who cares?
Right.
I'm going to just witness you and offer you support. Or I'd say, Avanti, I want to offer you support. We usually ask for agreement and permission too. Would you like to receive it? And you say yes. Great. So now we have a little bit of a channel open.
Sure.
And then I'm going to offer my own story in support of you.
Mm.
Something is different about that.
Yes.
It's different. Like you could go to a therapist, you could call your friends, but there's something different in this group energy of sharing our stories, witnessing and supporting. The other, like back up to my first circle that I sat in,
Yep.
I was so nervous, I was so scared. I shared and nobody said, "Oh, you're going to be okay, kid. Oh, don't worry, you'll find your way." Nobody commented.
Mm-hmm.
And this really cool thing happened in that moment. I was like, "Oh, I'm okay." I
Mm.
shared this big thing. I cried. I'd
Mm-hmm.
never cried in front of women I didn't know. I
Right.
cried. I passed the talking piece. Nobody tried to fix it, correct it.
Right.
And
No one freaked out. No
nobody
one.
freaked out.
Right.
Nobody told me what to do. No one
Yeah.
and my ego was like, I'm scared to share because I thought all these women were beautiful and brilliant and successful. And who am I? Am I I'm this kid who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know anything. I got to hold myself. I
Mm.
got to feel my own feelings. That was transformational. That was therapeutic.
Right. Right.
So there's this beautiful process where you are receiving the energy of the group.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of love in the circles that I lead for sure, because I'm leaning
Right.
into us opening our hearts and being
Sure.
supportive. So you're actually feeling all of this love and support, but it's not coming in the same channels that we're used to.
Right.
So I hope that answers that question. And
Yeah.
then I can also say like what makes a circle and
Sure.
not and it's these guidelines that I've learned, curated, studied, picked up from all
Mm-hmm.
different cultures over the years and I've made them in my humble opinion very accessible to everyone.
Sure. Sure.
My whole mission is to connect us, is
Mm-hmm.
to build community, connect our relationship to ourselves, to one another,
Right.
and to source.
Yeah.
And that's
Beautiful.
what the guidelines do. It deepens our connection to all three.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simple and it's profound. And I like to say, I've never been to a bad circle.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is amazing, by the way. It's beautiful. I want to come to one of your circles. I will definitely do that. Um, what I'm thinking about is that it's not therapy, right? Where you've got someone sort of, running the group. You're a facilitator, but it sounds like sharapy, not therapy, right? Like you're
Oh
sharing,
my God,
right?
I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Therapy, right? That's what and there's this piece about being seen, which is so powerful. It brings up for me, there's a lot of science around this idea of mirror neurons and empathy and sort of, the research that, and I'm looking at some research that I actually looked up about this, which is that what that does, mirror neurons are these brain cells that basically fire when we experience something and witness something, and we witness someone else experiencing something. So we're experiencing it, but we're witnessing someone else experiencing the same thing.
Mm.
That's when our mirror neurons fire, and it creates this deep connection and empathy. And there's actually science to show that we actually can basically deepen our connection to others, right? Is
Wait,
it's
but
this.
give me an example. So you're watching me
Mhm.
have an experience, and that's when the mirror neurons
Yes,
click in.
exactly. And so it allows us to feel with you rather than just for you. So
Wow.
we feel for you, right? But our mirror neurons kick in because we're identifying, we're witnessing it, we're experiencing what you're experiencing. And so we then start to feel with you, which is very different than feeling for you, right? And I
Mm,
think that that's the difference. That's what I'm hearing anyway. That's
yes.
that's super powerful, this idea of being seen and witnessed. So it's not only for the person who's speaking, is what
Yes.
I'm picking up. It's
Yes.
also for every single person in the group.
Yes.
There's something powerful happening for them as well.
Absolutely. And the connection that is happening
Right.
in the circle is undeniable. And one of the practices is that when you hear the truth being spoken, when you
Mhm.
say something that I relate to,
Yes.
that I say yes and as a way to be
Mhm.
like yes and, or I snap my fingers, or I put my hand on my heart. And so we're actually building that empathy so that you who's sharing this big thing, you are experiencing that you're not alone,
Right.
which very often we're all walking around going, I'm the only one depressed. I'm the
Yes.
only one struggling with money. I'm the only one struggling with my relationships. Nobody else, everybody else looks perfect and wonderful and beautiful and has it all together.
You
I'm the only one. You sit in a circle of anybody and you give them permission to share and also respond in a way that th're not going to interrupt. All of a sudden, everybody's leaning in and they're like, we're all going through
right.
different versions of the same thing. I venture to even say, even people that we think are on polar opposites of the
Right.
spectrum of experience.
Right. Yeah, and this is also bringing up for me this idea of reparenting. Okay, I know I'm getting a little clinical, but these are the
I
things
love
I'm
it.
thinking about, right?
Get clinical. I love it.
Right? So reparenting, right? This idea that when you didn't have these secure, social connections and attachments as a child, it's almost like what you described to me of your first experience sitting in a circle was almost like, and I'm not making any assumptions,
You
but it's
can. Go
almost
ahead.
like a way that you are reparenting yourself. Even if you have the most wonderful parents, no parent is, perfect. I always joke that I can be the most amazing mother to my two grown children, and they're still going to need therapy because
Yeah.
that's just the way it is, right? But I
Because,
think
by the way, Avanti, you're not the almighty that had every
exactly
single, you didn't give them every experience of
right.
their lives. They still went to school and there's still a world that they're living in.
Exactly, exactly. But it sounds like what happens in a way, maybe, is that you almost have this container in which you are being seen and witnessed by so many people and held by them. No
Mhm.
one's interrupting you. No one's saying, oh, it's going to be okay. They're just holding you like a parent would,
That's right.
right?
I have a line that I wrote that I use often, which is circles do for women what women do for everybody else.
Oh, wait. Say that
Yeah.
again.
Circles do for women what women do for everyone else. So we're the ones nurturing, feeding, holding, supporting, witnessing, tending to. We're whether you're a mother or not, you are out there doing so much for so many, being of service, volunteering, structuring, leading, teaching, doctoring, but you're doing so much. The circle space for me and for many women is a place for us to go, for us to recharge, for us to be filled, to be held, to be witnessed.
Wow.
I mean, I'll go into another subject, which is to feel. Avanti, I had to learn how to cry in circles. I was so
Mhm,
depressed. I was so guarded. I was so shut down. Crying was not an option.
right.
Way too vulnerable.
Mhm,
I couldn't
mhm,
cry. Guess what? I cried in my first circle and I didn't die.
right.
And I felt we all know after you cry, you feel so good. You're a little tired. You're a little drugged. You're like, you feel release. It's literally chemicals being released from your body.
Mhm,
I learned how to cry in circles. And here's another tidbit. When I started leading circles, well, I noticed it when I was just sitting in circles. But when I started leading them, I really started to hear the exact same line, I swear to God, in every circle over and over again from a woman.
mhm.
She would start crying, not really knowing why, just
Sure.
emotions were bubbling up. She
Right,
would say, I'm sorry I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm sorry I'm crying.
right.
Verbatim.
We
I
apologize for
said it.
everything. Ugh,
I said it.
yeah.
I rolled it into my guidelines, which is to say, tears are welcome.
Mhm.
Your authentic self is welcome. Your shadow's welcome. Your laughter's welcome. But tears are welcome. They're
Right,
welcome. They're necessary. They're beautiful. They're
right.
honored. They're held. And sometimes I have to say to a group, show of hands, if I cry, can you all handle it? And
Mm.
they're all like, of course.
Yes.
I go,
Ah,
great. So I'm not going to apologize.
yeah,
And then that gives them permission.
yeah.
And then women start crying. And then I also say, if women aren't crying, who's teaching the boys or the men that it's okay to cry?
Right.
If we're disconnected from our brilliant bodies
Mhm.
and emotions, if
Right.
we are, how are we helping or providing the nurturing space for our children, our lovers, our friends?
Right.
Another reason why circles are different, why they feel so therapeutic, but they're
Right.
not therapy. They're
Right.
like, it's a co-created, I like to say, brave space that we co-create
Mhm.
together for
Mhm.
us to actually just be who we
Right.
are, which are feeling beautiful, complicated beings that need a place to be ourselves because we're so busy being all these other things out in the world.
Right. And what's also coming up for me as you're saying this is that for women to have a space where they can emote in this way, share their emotions, share their feelings, not have anyone try to fix it. It also, because of these guidelines you have, it allows all the other women in that circle to not feel like they need to fix anything because we always try to fix everything for everyone in our families and our friends, our colleagues, the world, our patients, right? To be able to sit in a circle and the guideline is that you cannot fix anything. I actually think that would be really hard for me
Yeah.
because we are so wired to fix things,
Mhm.
especially in the Western world, right? It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, everybody wants
Yeah.
to fix everything, right? But especially women. So that is such an invitation and such a gift to be able to sit in this circle and not have to fix anything.
That's right. And it would be a great practice for someone like you who's literally a doctor healer and is your job is to help people get well. What a gift it would be for you to just sit there and not have
Right.
to be in that part
Right.
and really be in a receiving mode,
Mhm.
which is, okay, wow, my desire to fix her problem is coming up. All
Right.
right, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to listen. It makes us all much better listeners. I'm just going to listen to the stories that are shared because there's something here for me to hear.
Mhm.
And if I'm so busy fixing everybody, I might miss the gold or I might miss the medicine that's meant for me.
Right.
So it's a really good practice. Look, we all like to help. Of course, that feels good.
Right.
And we're not saying you're not going to ever help ever again. And maybe you do offer help in the circle in a different way,
Mhm.
but it's after you've given yourself the gift of listening. And also your gift to the woman sharing, your gift is your presence.
Right.
Your gift is your energy that you're creating that container.
Right.
And your gift is that you're going to let her hold herself.
Mhm.
And that's going to be an empowering
Yes.
feeling for that woman
Yes.
to not have it fixed for her.
Right. Right. And there's actually so many chemicals that are being released at this time. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, right? The connection
Mhm.
hormone, the love hormone, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Not only is the person who's speaking releasing oxytocin because they're feeling held and witnessed and reparented, right? The people who are listening are also feeling deeply connected to that person. So oxytocin is flowing for them and everyone's cortisol is going down. So from a
Yeah.
physiological level, this is like
It's
decreasing
science.
that stress response. So not only are you emotionally feeling like you're healing and you're emoting and you're processing, but you're quite literally healing yourself physiologically.
Yeah,
Like that is happening right
that is
in that
happening.
moment because of the hormones that are being changed in that process. So it's quite amazing as you're talking about that to think about it from that perspective.
Yeah. And when you said reparenting, I'm on to you. I'm like, yeah, that's what was happening in that first circle. It
Yeah.
was I was in a circle of women. My memory has it. It was probably like 15 women, but in my memory, it was like 30 women. They were all these angels. And it was like I felt at home. I felt in a community. And they were parenting me by sharing stories.
Mhm.
They were sharing their wisdom. And in that, I was being fed. I was being
Right.
nourished. I was being held. I was being seen. I was being taught that I was not alone
Right.
on all these different levels that you're describing. And one of the first books that I read on this journey, I was 24, was called Circle of Stones. And it's very poetic, but one of the stanzas that I remember is, how would your life have been different if you had sat in a circle of women when you were young and listened to them, when you first got your period and you came
Yeah.
and you sat and you listened. And I have chills now. And I was like, that's what I felt in that first circle
Hmm.
was, how would my life have been different? Well, it's being changed right now. So
Right.
that's the other reason why I love to facilitate circles, is because I know the magic.
Right.
I've tasted it, I've felt it, I've been transformed by it,
Mhm.
and I wanna share it. I
Right.
want everybody to feel the way I felt.
Right. And the other thing that I'm thinking about also is because I've had conversations with other experts on this, podcast about the power and the medicine of storytelling.
Yeah.
In so many ancient healing traditions, part of what we do is we sit together with our elders,
Mm,
with people who are younger than us, all ages. And there are stories that are told, usually by the elders, in this way so that there is this medicine that is transferred, right? Through the telling of the story, through the sharing of experience that is so healing,
mhm,
right? That's such a part of so many ancient healing traditions,
mhm,
in Ayurveda as well, this idea of actually in South Asian culture, when you live in a joint family, which is multiple generations living under the same roof, that is actually what's happening, right? There's that ability to live together and to have those stories passed down by your elders in which you learn about how to deal with the world, or you learn how someone in your family dealt with X, Y, and Z, and you learn that way. So what you're also describing is sort of bringing that sort of up for me
mhm.
as well of why it's probably so healing is that there's a storytelling aspect, right? And the storytelling, again, you're releasing oxytocin because you're more deeply connected. There's this, deep active listening that's going on, the mirror neurons, the reparenting, like all of these scientific principles that we know happen. We've studied them. There's research to show that this happens. I think that all of those things are happening in a
All those
circle.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
all those things are happening, and we are going back to ancient wisdom.
Mhm.
When I was first leading circles out in the world, I would say it's an ancient practice making a modern day comeback. Like,
Yeah.
circles were popping up all over, and now that's on my Instagram feed for sure, there's women's circles and men's circles happening all over,
Mhm.
and because there's a need for it, we
For
talk
sure.
about this loneliness epidemic,
Right.
and that's what, to me, circles are the remedy, are the medicine, and many of us, we're so disconnected from what you described
Right.
about living in community. We've
Right.
been we've been sold the wrong bill of goods, like,
Yep.
have a bigger house with 27 bathrooms,
Mhm.
and but only one family lives there.
Right.
And then have all this stuff, but none of it has to do with community,
Right.
and be really successful, but have no one to share it with, or
Mhm.
when you go through challenges, because you're supposed to be so successful that you don't have any problems.
Right.
So, a lot of modern women find their way to me, and they're withering on the vine
Mhm.
because they don't have community.
Right.
And as soon as they experience that they can have community, they're like, they're sad for themselves that
Right.
they have lived without it.
Mhm.
Literally, I've had women say,
Yes.
I'm, like, really happy, but I'm also really sad.
Yeah.
One woman said, I didn't know that this could exist amongst women."
Mm. Oh,
Modern woman, educated woman, she didn't understand that there could be love, support, sisterhood, kindness, community, and connection.
mhm.
Paramount. Community and connection for our health and well-being. Like what you just said, all the beautiful things that happen to our body when we're
Right.
in
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, it's so interesting because what you're talking about with circling, there's also that energetic component that's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, and all the different things we're learning about energy of how we feel each other. If we're sitting together and we're talking, we will actually start breathing together,
Mhm.
and our heartbeats will line up together, and we're not consciously doing that,
Right.
but we will match each other's energy. We're lining up, we're having an experience whether anybody has said one word or not.
Right. Right.
And what's so exciting is like now we know it. You're studying it. You're teaching me
Yeah.
about it. You're
Yeah.
teaching me about like what's going on in my body when I'm circling.
Yeah. It brings up something. I was listening to another podcast, and Gloria Steinem was on there, and she famously said
Mm,
something along the lines of, and I'm not quoting it exactly, but something about, revolutions start in circles.
mhm. Yeah.
And it's like this ripple effect. What do you think she meant by that? I mean, because that's a pretty strong statement for
Yeah.
her to make.
Well, my interpretation and I've in one of her books, she does talk about, traveling and going and sitting in living rooms and sitting in
Mhm.
circles and listening to the people, the women.
Right.
One of the many beautiful things about a circle is that we're all facing one another and we're
Mm,
all equal in the circle,
right.
and that the wisdom comes through the circle. So it's not just one person going, I'm going to be the leader and
Right.
I'm going to tell you what to do,
Right.
but that a revolution, I'm hoping or guessing this is what she said, but that the revolution is coming through the collective.
Mm,
It's
mhm.
coming through the circle because the time is ready for it to happen. It's not
Right.
one person saying, "Hey, you guys, come this way. We're gonna go do this thing."
Right.
But it's through the circle.
Yeah.
That's
Ugh.
my interpretation of it.
No, I love it. It's beautiful. So I put out an email to all my listeners when I knew I was going to be interviewing you to ask, what would you want me to ask Dre? And one question that came up a few times was, if I want to join a circle,
Mhm.
where do I start? Like, what do I look for? How do I find one? Can I start one?
Oh, yeah. Well, all of the above. So, if you wanna come, I lead circles virtually right
Mhm.
now,
Okay.
and I do lead them in person too. So, follow me on Instagram. Here's what I'm offering right now, which is the best way to be introduced to me is that on Saturdays, I do a guided meditation virtually. It's donation based, and you can come into my Zoom room
Mhm.
and get to know me and the other women that are called to do this type of gathering and work. And I do a guided meditation and I offer some prompts, suggestions, we chat a bit. And
Okay.
then once a month I will offer a circle for you to try out. And then I
Mhm.
offer circle series
Mhm.
where it's one group of 15 women and we circle together for 4 weeks, once a week,
Mhm.
and then if you want to sign up for that, you sign up for that.
Great.
That said, there are so many circles happening in your neck of the woods.
Mhm.
Google it, look into it. Sacred Sisters Collective is a great organization and they
Mhm.
have circles all over.
Okay.
If you're a man, Sacred Sons on Instagram, I love these guys. They are doing deep, divine, masculine ceremony work, circle work. It's out there, you can find it. So you can
Okay.
find me on Instagram
Yep.
and you can find circles that are happening in your neck of the woods.
Mhm.
I will also be offering a workshop circle for circle facilitators.
Mhm.
A lot of women that lead circles come to my circles to learn more about how I do it.
Mhm.
And I will be offering a workshop in how to lead your own circles.
Okay, amazing. We will put all of those links into the show notes for everyone listening, all of the resources you also mentioned, in addition to everything that you're doing, so that people can find that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's really important. I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot of people who are going to hear this episode and be like, oh, I need to try that, which was
Mhm.
the whole point. I want people to try that, right? We do. We
And
both.
my whole belief is, which is why this is really what I should be doing, is I think anybody can lead a circle. I think everybody should be leading circles. I want
Mhm.
everybody to be leading circles.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mine are amazing and people love what I do. Great. Come to my
Great.
circle. And I want
Right.
everybody to be using this medicine
Mhm.
in their own way, creating their own version of it and
Yeah.
helping their own communities.
Yeah. So I have a question about that. If you wanted to start your own circle, is it better to start it with people you don't know?
You can do it either way.
Either way? Okay.
You're going to find in your community that other women are craving what you're craving. So
Mhm.
let's say you're a young mom at your preschool and you're new and you don't feel like you know anyone. Guess what? There's 20 of you that
Mhm.
need a circle for new moms.
Mhm.
if your kid just went off to college, if you're whatever, like wherever you're at in life, if you're thinking
Yeah.
about getting married, if you just got divorced, if you just
Mhm.
like whatever, there are other women that are going through exactly what you're going through that need support and want conscious connection.
True.
So ask your friends, ask your family, ask your neighbors, ask your community,
Mhm.
put it out there and start a circle. You could do it with anybody.
Okay. Great. Love that. I wasn't sure if it was like against the guidelines to do it with people that you know, or
Oh
it's just
no.
having the guidelines to
Yes. The
guide everybody.
guidelines are just to create
Got it.
the structure, the
Mhm.
beginning, middle, and end. I
Mhm.
started circling with my friends. We did it once a month, and they were my closest friends. And we used the book. This was years ago. We used the book Ask and It Is Given
Mhm.
by Jerry and Esther Hicks. It was a manifestation book way
Sure.
back. Nobody knew what
Right.
manifesting was. And we would read the chapter and circle about it and talk about what we were manifesting and work through why we were probably blocked to really manifesting what we wanted. So
Sure.
you can be super
Yeah,
creative
of
in
how you do
in
it.
how you feel inspired to call a circle,
Mhm.
lead a circle.
Amazing. So I always like to do
Okay.
a connection round near the end of our episodes. It's similar to a lightning round, but I call it connection because connection is so, so important
Mhm.
in medicine, in the work that I do and the work that you do. So I'd love to get to know you better so that everyone else can get to know you better too and connect with you in a different way. Is that okay with you? Yeah.
Yes, love it.
Okay. What is something that brings you instant joy?
Mm. My 2 children, just thinking about them, looking at pictures on my phone, hearing their voice, their walking, breathing miracles, and I'm still in awe that I am their mother, that I get to be their mother, that
Mhm.
our journey happens to be that I birthed the 2 of them.
Uh-huh.
That just happens to be our story, but I really am just I'm in awe. I'm just in awe of them.
I love that. I can feel it
Mhm.
very deeply what you're saying.
Mhm.
What is something that makes you feel seen? And can you give me an example?
I love poetry,
Hmm.
and recently I read a poem written by someone I don't know on Instagram, and I have never felt more seen
Hmm.
by this stranger's poetry. He writes about women, he writes about his love for women, and I felt seen, and I wrote him and I thank him. I'm like, "Your poetry's blowing my mind." His
Mhm.
name is Christopher Sexton. So poetry right now, today.
Mhm.
And then I've had my other producing partner, Emily Cratter, wrote me a poem for my birthday, and I've never felt more seen.
Mm.
Made me
Mm.
cry. So poetry, that's my answer today is
Yeah,
poetry.
love that. What is a song that makes you feel most alive and why?
Okay, I'm gonna be so vulnerable and honest right now. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Mm.
There is a song that I'm listening to over and over again currently, and I'm a Pisces and we love music and we can really go deep with music. It's called Missing You by Steven Sanchez and this artist Ash. Okay. And it's like a love story back and forth, right?
Mhm.
And I've been listening and like romanticizing and listening. And then on my birthday, I listened to the song and I sang it to myself in the mirror and I bawled. And I
Wow.
thought, I have to bring this to a circle and have everybody do it. Like, sing yourself the love song, sing it to yourself.
Mm.
All these years I've been missing you. Like, you're the face of my children. You're the like if you went away, I felt like I was having a spiritual awakening because
Oh.
and it just kind of happened. I was playing this song in the background. There happened to be a mirror across from my dining room table. And I was writing and I just looked up and I just started singing.
Mhm.
I just started singing to myself. And then the tears came.
Wow. Yeah. So I call my podcast The Healing Catalyst because, I really want to help people make really impactful changes to support their health. That's the whole point of doing all of this, right? And so along those lines, what we talked about today, being in circle, being witnessed, not fixing people, this is not easy stuff. It takes effort. It takes conscious awareness.
Practice.
It
Yeah.
takes practice, right?
Mhm.
So what's one simple thing that our listeners could do starting today to really help inspire the healing, the medicine that comes with real, genuine connection?
If you want to change your life and someone else's life, which will feel amazing, is become an incredible listener.
Mhm.
Just that practice. Don't fix it. Don't interrupt. Hold space and listen. You can change your relationship with your children, your spouse, a stranger, simply by listening and not interrupting or interjecting what you think the moment needs. I had a moment with a friend the other day where I got emotional, and they kind of interrupted, like, "Oh, no, no, don't cry." And I said, "No, it's good. It's good. Like, I like crying. I'm okay. Like, I can cry."
Mhm.
And what I think happened is that friend, they were uncomfortable with their feelings,
Sure.
not mine, with their own.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, this is years of circling that I've sat and I've been uncomfortable with my own feelings, and I've learned how to listen. I'm not perfect at it. I'll still interrupt. I'll still mess up. And I have learned the value of deep listening.
Mm.
And it's been life changing for talk about like my inner peace, right? And then I've heard it's been really helpful to other people as well,
Yeah.
the deep listening.
Mm. I love that. Dre, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
You're
And
so
thank you for the
welcome.
work that
Thank
you're
you.
doing. It's really important.
Yes, you
Really
too.
important. Yeah.
And thank you for your book.
Oh, thank you.
So great.
Thank you. Wow, what a powerful conversation. One of the things that Dre said that really stuck with me was this: if you want to change someone's life and your own, become a better listener. It's so simple and yet so powerful. Just listening without trying to fix, without offering advice, is a really profound act of presence. And here's the thing: we often underestimate how healing it can be to simply hold space for someone just by listening. And again, this is not a bunch of woo. The science backs this up. A study out of Harvard found that emotions like happiness, kindness, and empathy ripple out through social networks, spreading up to 3 degrees of separation. So when you really show up for someone, when you witness them with presence and without judgment, you're not just helping them feel seen. That experience doesn't just end with them, it spreads. It becomes medicine for others too, because you're creating a ripple effect that can touch so many people that you may have never met. So here's my invitation to you. In the next few days, find someone in your life and just listen without interrupting, without offering advice. Just be present. Let them feel seen. You might be surprised by what unfolds, not just for them, but also for you. And if you're someone who's been feeling alone or unseen more often than you'd like to admit, please know you are not alone. And also, you don't have to stay in that place. Seek out a circle in your community or join a virtual one. These spaces are powerful medicine for the isolation that so many of us are feeling right now. And it might just be the thing that helps you come home to yourself again with the deep knowing that you belong and that you're not alone in what you're feeling. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this beautiful ripple of healing. Until next time, be well. Thank you for listening to The Healing Catalyst. If you found this episode helpful, please hit follow and share it with a friend. And if you feel inspired, please rate and review because it helps others find this podcast more easily. For more insights and tips, head to my website at avantikumarsingh.com. And to connect with me directly, find me on Instagram at Avanti Kumar Singh. I loved sharing this episode with you. My hope is that you heard something today that sparks a catalyst in your healing journey and helps you build lasting health. Be well, and I'll see you next time. This is a Dante 32 production.